Hey hunters, Lord here, back with another endgame set video for Monster Hunter World Iceborne. In today's video we're going to be covering sets for bow. Now I've prepared a set for each element since bow does extremely well with element, but I also have a very strong raw set with Fatalis bow, so be sure to stick around for that. First, before we get into the sets, I want to give a massive shout out to my good friend Tidus. He let me use his bow guide as a reference for this video, since I'll be the first to admit that I don't know bow as well as many of the other weapons that I've already covered in this series. Having his knowledge was an invaluable asset for me being able to make this video, so be sure to go check out his channel and show him some love. He'll be linked down in the description as well as in the pinned comment. He makes very high quality content, has a ton of knowledge on Monster Hunter and many other games, and is all around a great guy. Now one last thing before the sets, just because I use a skill or armor piece or weapon doesn't mean that you have to, and just because I don't use something that you might like doesn't mean that you can't use it. You do not have to follow me 100% and you don't have to play how I play. Remember that Monster Hunter is a game and part of the fun is playing in a way that makes it enjoyable for you and using things that you like. With that out of the way, let's jump into the first set, which is going to be water. This is the oddest of the sets. We'll be using Safi's Aqua Bow with Element and Velcana, as well as 4 pieces of Fatalis and the Rimeguard Greaves Gamma. Now, since all these sets only go for Constitution at level 2, you'll need to do 2 more things to get maximum stamina reduction. First of all, you have to drink a dash juice, and secondly, you'll need to eat for the skill Feline Black Belt. I'd also recommend eating for Feline Sharpshooter to boost your normal arrows by 10% as well. If you eat for Feline Sharpshooter, you can actually afford to drop one of the 4 shot jewels in any of these upcoming sets for another skill like Clutch Claw boost, but I'll leave that option up to your preference, I just want you to know about it. The mantles and skills in the mantles are also up to your preference or matchup, but I've shown mine here just as an idea of what you could go for. Up next we have Ice, Fire, and Thunder, which all use roughly the same set. You're going to want to augment for full element as that's ideal, but these sets do have peak performance, so you could definitely run a health augment if that was your preference. Since each of these bows have power coatings, they actually gain a decent damage boost instead of going full Safajiva armor, so that's why we're running 4 pieces of Fatalis with the Culve Alpha legs and the Challenger Charm. Again, if you want Clutch Claw boost, just drop a Force Shot Jewel in the waist and eat for Sharpshooter. For these sets, I've shown a couple of options on comfort or damage, and you can run Attack Boost 3 for your maximum DPS, but you could also change out those Refresh/Attack Jewels for another skill with Stamina Surge, allowing you to add other quality of life skills that you might prefer instead of just a little bit of extra raw. Finally, we have Dragon Element. Now, Dragon Element really only has 3 good matchups, being the Wraths and Savage Deviljho, so I've decided to skip that here. However, if you want, the Elatrion bow with the Silver Rathlow set bonus is optimal for pure damage. Again, that's going to be in Tidus's video, so if you do want to check that out, I'll link that down in the description. I've instead opted to just use the raw max DPS Fatalis setup, since it's insanely strong and means it's one less set that I've got to make overall. This set uses the same armor as our previous Ice, Fire, and Thunder sets, however it uses the Fatalis bow and really only goes for raw, with just 3 levels of dragon attack up. I've got my weapon augmented for health, affinity, and element, but of course you can use your augments of choice. However, I'd strongly recommend at least the health augment since we're running peak performance. Again, I just want to cover some things. These sets go for Constitution level 2, meaning again you will need a dash juice and to eat for Feline Black Belt in order to get your maximum stamina reduction. Again, also adding Sharpshooter to your meal and making a bow specific setup will allow you to drop one of the 4 shot decos in any of these sets to fit in something like a Shaver Jewel if that's what you'd prefer. I know I've already said this before, but it's kind of important and good knowledge to have, so I wanted to make sure I touched on it just one more time. So that's going to do it for today's video. If you did enjoy or found any of these sets helpful, then a like would be super appreciated, as it's a totally free way to help support my channel. If you're new to my channel, new to Monster Hunter, or if you just liked what you saw in today's video, do consider subscribing for more Monster Hunter content just like this. Again, I've covered tons of endgame weapons already this year, and I plan to cover quite a few more, and the best way to make sure you don't miss those is to be subscribed. With all that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I wish you all a good day, and happy hunting.